Good afternoon, everybody. It is January 15th, 2019. It is about 12:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here. And welcome to a short hangout. My hands are tied this week. The weather is so awful. I want to be outside so much and chooching and walking and getting my exercise and doing my thing, but it's virtually impossible. I cannot go to a gym because I've not been cleared for workout exercise. If I go to the gym, I like to work out pretty strenuously. I don't want to pop any stitches or anything. So I just do projects. No Nightbot cares. How you doing, sweetie? Yeah. Enlarge the size of the type here on the side chat. Boom, boom. Hey, Vanessa, how are you, beautiful? Nice to see you. So how are you ladies doing today? Let me just put this on. Mute for 1 second. I got a call coming in. I apologize for that. I'm not one for taking calls on, but that was, I'm in the market for, camper vans and all that. I'm going to get something to drink real quick. I'll be right back. All right, apologies for that. A couple things are coming in. We finally got scheduled up. Finally, after waiting about a month, Jen finally heard about her surgery coming up, so we got the date fixed on that. I'm not going to announce that date here. Hey, aloha, Colleen. I really appreciated your communication today. It was wonderful. Okay, good. Carlos says, Rosie saying, hi, yep, I am. I got my nails done. We will go over the script tonight. Elvis, I'm doing a live stream. There we go. Hey, Harvey. Nice stream today. Missy Jenn is sitting about 15 feet away from me off the port side here. So I do a video on that. Great. I will there. You know, John Gallagher, I have a video up showing all of my vintage audio equipment on the wall of sound. It has almost 150,000 views on that. So it's all in there. Just put vintage audio in my search box in my channel and you will be overwhelmed with perhaps 200 audio videos. But I'm not talking about that today, but that is out there. I will be doing a short video probably to go up tomorrow showing the finished the KT 5300 classic 1978 Kenwood tuner. Turned out beautifully. The paint dried on the housing yesterday. I knocked that down with a little bit of double O steel wool. Knocked down some of the shine, got that mounted. Nice to see you. Talk of the week. What I want to talk about today is, as you all know, and Classy Redhead, nice to see you. As you all know, it's been to me, it's been unusual. Usually after the holidays, or usually in the fall time, October, November, are really high months for drama on YouTube. And I've been around 6 years on a daily basis on YouTube, and it's very unusual. You know, 2019 is off to such a tough start, and it just, to some people, I'm trying to put a proper perspective on it today. And I think, oh, okay, talk of the week. Well, nice to meet you. Your friend from the UK. Nice. No Nodbot cares. I have so many wonderful friends from the UK. Harvey, Nicole, just so many wonderful people over there. Vanessa, just a zillion of them. They're great people. I think the problem really, and I get cursed. Vinny G and I, we alternately get cursed, and you know, people either love it or hate it. But you know, with our explorations in different communities in the fall of 2018, we really did come upon the drama community. And there's been somewhat of an integration with Boyd, the bottom of YouTube, that occurred. So in one way, it's just, although the drama may seem more outsized in a lot of ways in what's going on in the communities, the reality is it's probably just many more people with many more chat streams to frequent and go to. So therefore, the amount of drama is increasing, but it's not disproportional to the increase in people that are on the channels. And that's the first point I want to make. It's like when you have when you have communities merge like we had, the drama community with the Boyd, there's that whole period of exploring. There's that whole period of, well, I'm new, I'm from the drama community, or I'm from the Boyd, and I'm just checking out the drama streams. There's a lot of people crossing over into these different streams. And as a result, there's people being woven into the fabric of a lot of these different communities. You have Boyd people that are deep into the drama community. You have drama people that are deep into the Boyd community. So it's pretty amazing. Hey, Yujiro, how are you? Because I got a letter this morning, an email kind of accusing me and Vinny of just conspiring to somehow explode, you know, numbers to get people involved in communities. And, you know, nothing could be further than the truth. It gets back to that whole, hey, Susie, it gets back to that whole idea of whether or not things are scripted. And they don't have to be scripted down here. Why would things have to be scripted? Do you know how many big personalities are down here in these communities, or up there, I should say? We're on the Boyd, so everything looks up. the bottom of YouTube. Everything looks up to us. Yeah, Courtney's like, I thought the Boyd was the drama community. That's what I'm saying. Everything depends on perspective. But, you know, the glass can be half empty or the glass can be half full. And the half empty part looks at it and says, well, there's people fighting, there's infighting. And the half full part says, there's a lot of interesting things going on. There's a lot of people that you can choose to agree with or disagree with. And everybody gets kind of invested. And we have our favorite channels. We have our favorite people on here. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? I'm feeling great, honey. I got still wearing the compression garment here. Friday, I have my appointment. Yeah, it's time for the daily soap opera, the days and drama of YouTube life. Colleen says, as far as I can tell, no one is going to go along with someone else's agenda. Well, it's you know, there are recruiting stations along the way. I mean, I call them DRS, drama recruiting stations, where you buttonhole certain people in the chat and you feed certain information to them in the hopes of getting them, you know, kick the tires and light the fires, and you have more flying monkeys to take wing. Hey, Sister Earth, nice to see you. You know, so there are drama recruiting stations around the Boyd and around the drama communities. But it's not necessarily, it's not all negative. And when I got this email this morning about you know, going back in time to October, November of 2018. And, you know, you hear some people voicing it on the chats that bringing communities together is a disaster. Hello, Kit Kat. And when you go visiting communities and you're starting to visit other communities, you have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea. Sometimes things take on a momentum. Sometimes it's like a little catalyst that hits in there. And all of a sudden you're perceived to be something new and different in a community. And boom, you get some big personalities like Vinny. And then the drama community has quite a few big personalities. And all of a sudden, maybe the usual 3-ring circus appears to turn into a 10-ring circus. This is kind of my take on it today. And the question is drama-free even possible, or is it the nature of things? I say this because I was watching Harvey, my friend Harvey De Niro Staples. You can see him in the side chat over there. He's a very nice fellow in the UK. Very well-spoken, very well-mannered. Does content on YouTube. Found me through the vintage audio restoration community. He was reacting to my friend Nicole Green's video today about her starting a chat and wanted to be a drama-free and a positive chat, which I applaud her. I had a conversation with her the other night and to tell her, hey, you have a lot of interests. You have a lot of varied subjects that you can speak about. And you have a lot of diverse and cool people that could come on your panel. But the issue I have is, if you think that you can perpetually keep dramas, keep Hangouts drama free, I've noticed after doing Hangouts almost as early as you could put them on YouTube in 2015, I was there on panel chats, you know, with Drury and in my own chats for years. I've noticed that when you, hey Jody, when you bring people together, Hey, Impatient, I'm doing great. Hey, Cindy, when you bring people together on a regular basis, my real belief is that no matter how good the intention is, something sooner or later triggers somebody. And positive, upbeat hangouts suddenly become splintered and they become news sources for drama within the community. I mean, I've certainly seen it myself in the last couple of weeks with the Dave the Fisherman situation. Hello, Scottish Sarah. Nice to see you. You know, seem to be a really gigantic wedge in the communities. So I just think, but it's the nature of things. So I think I came to accept it over the years that it's just a part of doing hangouts and a part of being on YouTube, that you're going to rub people the wrong way. Like I was talking to somebody today about, I had Narce's hanging out with nephew Narce last night. And the person said, gee, you got 105 or what thumbs down and 80 thumbs up. It's really crazy how split the community is. I said, yeah, I'm doing better than usual on the thumbs up. You know, usually like 190 down and 20 up or something like that on there. But I'm just saying, it just shows how split communities are. You got to have a thick skin. And you got to also recognize that on here, that you put the same people together every day, which is basically what we are, is an enormous family with thousands of people. And remember the old tip of the iceberg theory. I call it the tip of the iceberg theory. Good afternoon, Steph. Hi, Buff. The tip of the iceberg theory is, for every person that you see typing on the side chat, how many people you think just silently watch and either enjoy or despise the hangouts? I would say it's on the ratio of probably the tip of the iceberg. Most of the iceberg you don't even see. Underwater. Hey, Monique, how you doing, sweetheart? So when we have a hangout where we have 200, 300, 400 people on, that ripple effect goes through the week where lots of other people watch the hangout, but they don't comment on that. So it's a huge crew of people that hang in here. And we inevitably try to choose, well, not inevitably, but we end up choosing sides because we find a comfort zone within these. Andrew Hondo says, I've been on the scene since 2014 when I first seen TR Prepper, so I trolled you then. It was a cool person then. I heard about Elvis from my gun community, so I trolled him too. Yeah, everybody uses it. Everybody enjoys it in a different way. Some people have like zero tolerance for being trolled. I'm doing great, Monique. Thanks for asking. You know, and some people have different levels of trigger where they're gonna go off. Susie asked an interesting question. Do you think there are some that have never spoken? I truly believe that at least half of the number, hey Cupcake, at least half of the number that you see are people that have never posted and never will post on a hangout. To them, it's just like turning on the stereo at home or turning on the TV for company, you know, when you're working around your house and doing things. Is Tucky in the house here? Step forward, Tucker. Identify yourself. Well, Susie, is it scary? I'm not sure. Steph Offenberg said, I was silent for the first few weeks. I have people that periodically write me just to let you know I'm going to start to be active on chats, although I've watched for 3 years on here. I just feel like now I want to be involved. Yeah, Sister Earth says I listen to many chats and don't comment. I'm the same way. I'll listen to some chats and I don't really know these people that well, but I'll find the subject matter interesting and maybe somebody's getting their tootsies roasted on the fire. And I'll think to myself, well, that's a different way of preparing a roast. You know, or gee, I've never heard that before. Or who in the hell does that? Let's be honest. Hello, Issy, nice to see you, honey. Let's be honest. Hey, Koopy. Shimmy, shimmy, shake, shake. Take off those shirts. Tonight, Cooper, just for you, I'll have a later night Dorito top hangout for you. How about that, honey? What often happens, though, in these communities, okay, there we go. Justifiable Homicide says, I rarely comment, but always watch. Love me some Rosie. There we go. What often happens is things get so inflamed and so embroiled, especially if you're a content creator, and you get involved in hangout dramas and things like that. A lot of times you'll end up just walking away from hangouts. Nomadic Fanatic did that. The heat got so bad in 2015 when the allegation, well, when he came on a hangout and admitted that the Class C RV that he sold an elderly couple, using his own words, was an admitted death trap. I mean, what the hell? I mean, if you, I mean, I don't walk away if I'm gleeful that I sold an old couple a death trap. And then just you know, it was really game on from all of the negativism about e-begging versus the freedom to do as you like on YouTube. And this was a guy that regularly, I hung out on panel with him before. I think he has something on the order of 125,000 subs now. But he chose to just take his act to uploaded videos. So some people use that to hit the ripcord and just escape. Do just edited videos and stick them up. So I've seen this wheel reinventing itself so many times that we all go with the intention of having I don't know anybody that ever started a chat and said, I'm going to have a drama chat, except some people within the honest community that genuinely like talking about drama and talk about what's going on. And, you know, hats off to them, because I think that they're extremely honest. I like drama. I like to see people mixing it up. I like to get my sleeves rolled up and get in there and knock a few heads. I feel like a damn Harley biker bitch. Somebody told me in an email when I get into some of these chats, Rosie, I feel like a Harley biker bitch. I mean, my goodness. God forbid we ever meet up someplace like at Sturgis or something like that. I mean, can you imagine that? But I thought to myself, I really like the honesty of this person. I really like the honesty of this person that they came out and just said, I'd love to mix it up. And I'll go in there and I'll rattle a few cages and I'll grab a few bitches by the throat, shake them around a little bit, breathes new life in them. It gets them away from the young and the restless. So there's just different people that use YouTube for different things. So I just say again, as much as you but I think 90% of the chats start with the intention of great people getting along. But we can't all like each other all the time, and we can't all be perfect, and perfect in our acceptance of everything that everybody says. I mean, politics is a great divider. Religion is a great divider. Sexual affiliation, sexual proclivities is another big desire. As another big splitter, I mean, in these communities. I mean, it's inevitable. Especially in the United States, when we have such a regional diversity of opinions about lifestyles, from the very conservative of the Deep South to the very liberal of California. That's a hell of a broad spectrum for people to associate and rub elbows on there. But the thing I really like is that somebody like a Nicole Green will continue trying, and will step forward and will say, I just want to have a positive chat. I don't want to talk about the Bergs. I don't want to talk about Elvis. I don't want to hear about Rosie's. She didn't mention me, but I can imagine Rosie's latest antics with the Camus family and whatever's going on with Dave and Becca. I get that. And I think it's a wonderful thing. But sometimes I just think people have they aim too high. They're not realistic enough about what YouTube is about and the many different personalities here. And I'll say I'm also always fighting the battle for the side chat, because I always feel like they often get tagged as second-class citizens. Now, Coop is in here, and Coop has a big Saturday night chat, Cooper Chats. We've had talks before about, and once he started, taking over from me and doing Saturday night chats, which I did for a couple of years, he came back to me and he's like, holy hell, Rosie, it is so hard to have people on a panel and yet give your attention to the side chat, because nobody likes to be ignored on the side chat. I've had people after, Rosie, I thought we were friends. I hailed you 3 times on the side chat. You never saw me. Later, alligator. And the bottom line is, you guys know I would never ignore anybody, even a Joe King, on the side chat over there. But as Coop discovered, when you run up 100, 150, 200, 250, 350, 400, 450 people on a chat, then it becomes very, very difficult. And I have seen my friend Coop get frustrated as I was as a result of that. But that doesn't mean that we don't keep trying to engage that side chat, because they really are the fuel in the rocket. And don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise, because if people didn't want to have an audience, as one of my friends wrote me, they would just take all this to private, and you'd never hear a thing about it. Sometimes things that are in private explode into public. And there's people that talk about you know, the boom boom room. And I heard somebody on the Hangout talking about the boom boom room. And all of a sudden, after 2 months, all of a sudden, the boom boom room comes up again. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, now this thing, now it is a game like telephone where you tell a story about, you know, the here's the definition of boom boom room, pass it on to the person next to you. And by the time it gets to 100, you're the 100th person, it's a damn strip club. You know, now the idea is Vinny G's running a strip club. Somebody's like, well, I know he's got a strip club. He's got the mirror ball in his chat. He's got the fire on. The anything goes. The gladiators, the arena, enter at your own risk. Yeah, cupcakes. How do you not know it? How do you not know what it means? Like strip club. I mean, I've been in, you know, Debbie Davis had the kitty cat room. She probably still does. That was more of a boom boom room, I think, than Vinny ever dreamed of, that boom boom room. But you know what? That was good friends hanging together. You know, friends that definitely had each other's backs. And, you know, there were no strip club, though. But I'm saying, I think to myself, poor Vinny trying to boom boom illume his way. Hey, how you doing, Glenn? Hey, Linda Francine, trying to boom boom balloon away out of this. You know, and he's communicated to me, and he's frustrated as can be. And you'll hear him on there, and he gets close to that microphone. Rosie O'Kelly. How are you doing, Rosie? Hey, Rosie, I got home last night. It's 40 degrees outside. I got myself a beer out of the fridge, Rosie. And I laid me arse on the cold tile floors because I knew it was going to be a bad night. You know? Hey, Maggie. You cannot get the toothpaste back in the tube no matter what. The legend of the boom boom room has exploded. You know, those of us who knew about it and associated with it back in 2018 and knew that it was just you know, a conceptual thing, have now had it brought out that this is a room where men and women, you know, are doing things. And it's like, wow, this was on somebody else's drama chat. And I was just like, wow, I was like almost in disbelief. I was thinking, damn, how did I miss those nights? You know, how did I miss that action? And then on the other side of the coin, I was horrified that people would assert, because I heard on the boy, this is all the boy does is exploit women and you know, twist people's arms. How you doing, Chris? How you doing, Emma? Yeah, I'll do a pretty good. Rosie, how you doing, Rosie? I'll do a pretty good Vinny G. But the level of frustration and is just apparent on here. So I thought it's like everything has a life cycle to it. It's like when Drury started his chats, and Drury was one of the first people, Drury Nadab was one of the first people on YouTube to really have a specific subject. Let me fix this stupid cat. Yeah, sorry about that. This camera goes out. He was the first guy to ever really have a specific topic in mind and pursue that topic on a regular Friday night hangout for the better part of a year. And that hangout became so popular that there were people, it was the equivalent of planes circling over LaGuardia Airport in New York City waiting for a slot to come down. I mean, it was people stacked up to go into, hey, RV Shadow, stacked up to go into those hangouts. I wouldn't have ever bet against that. I would have thought that those hangouts would have been a mainstay for 2, 3, 4 years on YouTube because they were so good. People come in, talk about RVing, people in the RV community. You had the Nomadic Fanatics, you had the Chris Travels, you had the Mike Living Freeze, you had the Elvis Travels occasionally, you had the Rosie O'Kelly looking to buy an RV. And they were great, wonderful chats. They'd start at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, my time, and go till, midnight, 1 a.m. They were great chats. But they blew apart. Because that particular panel started to attract people. I came in, some of my trans sisters showed up on the scene, Amanda and Nicole and a few other ones. Other people showed up that just liked to chat and just liked to bullshit, didn't have a specific topic. And they just started meshing with each other until we had various splits in the community about whether e-begging was okay or whether e-begging was not. And Nomadic Fanatic became the lightning rod for that. And I never saw a community so exploded apart with a barrage of nomadic patriot, and all these people would they'd do their anti-begging vids. And then there were people on the other side that took great offense to that. And they would say, well, this guy puts up content, he should be allowed to. And the people on the other side would say, no, he wanted to raise money for solar panels and he never properly accounted for the use of the solar panels. And it just became a huge axe head that just split the community up, and then it re-splintered into other components till it got so bad one night on some of the sub hangouts it would spin out that one guy threatened to put a bullet in somebody else's head and ended up calling the FBI and reporting it. That's right, Linda Francine. The frustration is the tension built up, and they got to be released because people aren't always going to get along. So we have within our own communities, and now with I don't want to, some people are very offended when you talk about merging communities, on YouTube. I don't really get offended because people like to go where they got something to do. There's a lot of people here, as I've said, that are retired. Some are disabled. They have very few outlets for entertainment. Some people don't have a lot of funds to spend on entertainment. And they've discovered that being on a YouTube, the story changes every day. And they end up canceling their cable TV, hey, RV radio, because there's nothing on TV like these communities. And therefore, what's the conclusion that somebody comes to? Because they script drama shows on TV, this is so good or so bad over here on YouTube that they must have masterminds at Programming Central that sit down and write the scripts. Can I get a witness? Because this is so compelling, it's got to be professionally engineered and contrived. Yeah, most folks just turn their TVs off. Yeah, Colleen said, this isn't Dallas and nobody shot JR. That's the thing I find pretty fascinating about, because a lot of people show up on a daily basis, that it must be something that people work hard behind the scenes. Oh, Rosie must have met Dave and Becca to give a little supercharging to 2019 to get us off on the right foot. Or Vinny did this, or Vinny had this person on panel to, you know, and because Vinny chooses to put a showmanship spin on it, a showman, and let's face it, Vinny's a showman. Because he puts a showman spin on it. Some nice lighting, some nice music, some clips. Everybody thinks that it must be a scripted show. And my point is, you can just, hey, Beryl, you can just bring people together and shit happens all by itself. Harvey, it's okay. YouTube has a wide latitude about cursing. Doesn't automatically. You hear cursing on the streets, picking up kids at daycare. I used to be appalled from preschool, people be cussing a blue streak, people cussing in front of their kids. I understand that, Rosie. He's angry. What doesn't fly is things like racism and those terrible things. Hello, JK NoCal, nice to see you. Yeah, Glenn's like, I blame Russia for all the drama. Now, RV Shadow said, I have the identical RV to Tilly 2.0, but with a good transmission. That was the Class C that Nomadic Fanatic had. Susie said, everyone knows you scripted chat. It would be so obvious. That's what I think. Aren't chats where you get people together with the topic, aren't they scripted? You know, like I want to begin having vintage audio hangouts where people like Harvey and some other people that enjoy vintage audio, they'd be small, maybe 5-10 people watching, but there'd be people that have a real passion. What few rebuilders are left in the world to have that that's kind of a scripted hangout. So this is just the point I wanted to come on and make today. We all have the intention of not, well, I'm not going to say all of this. I mean, I'm sure there's people that fire up a hangout. I think probably Elvis does this. They fire up a hangout because they want to rattle the cage. They want to incite a reaction. But I think most people just start hangouts, and they have hangouts, and then they'll go down rolling for a certain amount of weeks and months, and stuff happens. Yeah, I've heard that too, Jody. Somebody sent me a message this morning. They brought Narce into this. They brought Narce into the show now because they need the juice to show for the spring season coming up. Hey, how you doing, Real Autumn? Nice to see you. I'm feeling wonderful. Hello, Nature Woman, Kentucky. All of a sudden, Narce appears for a reason. You know, we haven't seen Narce for months, and then 2 weeks ago, Narce suddenly pops up on the panel with Bergs. And of course, once Bergs was on the panel, Narce was never really able to get a word in again. That's specifically why I didn't put Bergs on last night. Not at all. Oda Mae Brown, you have perfect freedom, honey, to post whatever you want in the side chat. I'm not one of these people. I'm just keeping wrenches slim, Glenn. I'm not one of those people that is against people promoting. You can promote your own chat. You can promote your video. The more people that have Hangouts, the better. The more people that put up content, the better. I'm not one of these people that says, don't come onto my chat and promote what you're doing, or if there's another chat. I could care less. Because to me, it enhances the whole experience of what people get to do on YouTube. So we all benefit by that. Yeah, Glenn, I wanted to keep, everybody was basically getting wrenched up. And then it was like every time I had a Hangout. No, I feel good. Here. There you go. Rosie's back. Yay. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? No, I'm not. I get a lot of blowback. I get a lot of mail, as you can imagine. When you have events like have happened the last 3 weeks have been really over the top on YouTube, and you're going to get a lot of feedback from people, and a lot of people are going to have opinions across a lot of different platforms about things. So just try to set the record a little straight there, because somebody said, Rosie, I really look at Nicole. She's going to do a positive chat. I said, you can take a tip from Nicole and do a positive chat. And I'm thinking to myself, I always try to do a positive chat when I come on, but it doesn't always end up that way. And I'm just kind of coming out today and sort of addressing that and saying, I expected, and I hope people will watch that Nicole will do her usual wonderful job. She can talk about Korean food and all kinds of things. But it just seems like inevitably over time that something will always creep in to offend somebody. I don't think very few people start a chat to just make people mad. Yeah, Emma. Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate that. She said she enjoyed the hangout last night. We don't always have to be shrill. We don't always have to yell, but there's a stand-up factor too. I'm not going to be one of those people that jumps from hangouts to hangouts. And in this hangout, I've put all that behind me. In this hangout now, I'm going to be on this person's side. Then I'm going to go to the next hangout, and I'm going to, play the person as a fool. That's not my style. Because people got eyes. They see what goes on. That's another message that I had last night, is that oftentimes we very underrate the intelligence of people on the side chat, that somehow we're going to pull the wool over their eyes, or gee, maybe they didn't see that, or maybe they didn't hear about that. They see and they understand everything. These people are not babies cutting their teeth on social media. A lot of these people I see on the side chat have been around for years. The Sister Earth. of the world. The Carlos Martinez is the world, the original network of evil people. They've been around for years. And they've seen it all. So Carlos, I'm going to ask you as a favor. You may or may not wish to, but to lighten up on Vinny G. You know, because at the end of the day, I believe the intention of Vinny is to be an entertainer and to have people come and enjoy and have and be a place to talk. But it's just inevitable that things explode, and the last 2 days were really bad over there. So I'm just kind of giving a shout out to him. No, it doesn't really hurt because I'm kind of sitting on the front. Can I ask who is Barca? Hey, Mama Bear. How are you? Barca was a nickname for Narce. Remember when people are very careful about what they say now, because people can drop a flag on you for bullying. You know, I've noticed, you know, well, I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not going to mention it. You know, there's certainly always continuous drama involving Mama Bear. So there's people that want to put up videos, and there's people on the other side too to put up videos. But you have to be very careful, because if it's too identifiable who the person is, then you can get flagged, long form struck, and you get a strike on your channel. Well, I know that, Monique, but I'm just saying, in a lot of ways, Monique, my point is not that Vinny is innocent, but just that what starts out with good intents and what starts out as a fun place to chat inevitably takes a life in a direction that's maybe not intended for the person that running it. That was the point I was making. Not that Vinny can be an imp. I know that. But my point was that chats take on a life of their own, because you can't control who comes in, and you can't control who doesn't come in, and you cannot control the topics that people talk about on there. Thank you, Nature Woman. So that was not intended to irritate you, Monique. That was just intended to say my example is that the intention is to have a fun chat, but after a while, things get brought into that chat room. People ponder them, people explore that, and then people act upon that. But that acting upon, we really never know who's doing what. So I'm apologizing to you, Monique. It was not my intention to, you know, irritate you or to, you know, to make you feel bad about that. Let's see, Sister Earth said, and the people that do try to control the chat and what people talk about the side, Rosie, chats are no fun getting booted if you don't agree. Those chats are no fun getting booted. Exactly. Exactly. Because when this is how a lot of things happen. When you get booted from a chat, that automatically stokes the fires a little more. Of people don't like to be shown the door, particularly if they're not cursing. Particularly, I mean, people know when their behavior is outlandish. They know. You know when you're deserving of the boot, and you know when you're not deserving it. When you're not deserving the boot is just when you throw up on somebody's chat, and then just on sight, boom. I think those are the things that Sister Earth is talking about, because you're wearing like a gang badge of hanging out with, you know, that you're either on the Sharks or the Jets, right? And if a Sister Earth is thought to be on the Jets, and she shows up at the Sharks chat, then she gets shown the door. When in reality, there's really no affiliation except to just hang out and chat and have a good time. That's right, Monique. I just wanted people to understand today and just get my opinion on where this tension comes from, Monique, and why it's not contrived, and why it's just a natural consequence of people getting together in free expression environments. Now, what gets bad, and where I speak from personal experience and have spoken often, and I spoke about it this morning, is when it goes over to real life. And this is when people get caught totally off guard. That's where the real suffering comes in. And like I said, when you share a little too much information in a private chat because you're amongst great friends, but then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden your great friend is now your worst enemy. And then what are you thinking in your mind? You're thinking, oh, fuck. You know, at that point, you got two choices. You can either stand your ground, hold your tongue. Monique said, I've never seen this shit before. It seems that everyone goes for shock value. I think, I'll just say this, Monique. I will just say this. With all the logic that I can put out there, is that different people have different trigger points. Like me, some of my explosions are on YouTube, but they're very few, far in between. I think my last ones were in 2015 recorded. It doesn't mean that I don't feel like exploding sometimes. I'm just a person that has a super long fuse, but when I go off, watch out. I mean, it's rare, but it's ugly. There's some people that have very low thresholds of tolerance, and it's just boom. If they feel the slightest bit slighted, they're going at you. And if they sense any kind of pushback from the other side, if they sense any kind of, like it's on, sucker, coming back the other way. Unfortunately, some people go nuclear. They go for the nuclear option, which is the total devastation and destruction. I mean, we've seen it here in my life. Jobs, family, friends, social media becomes weaponized, and it becomes a massive weapon of personal destruction. You know, people 5150 holds, having people, I mean, what's happened on the Boyd? I mean, there's literally been people on the Boyd that have been swatted by the cops multiple times and taken into 5150 takedowns. Or, you know, like I'm in a hotel and you get swatted at the hotel, or not swatted in the sense of the cops, but, you know, they're reaching out. You know, you go down to Las Vegas and the phone is ringing off the hook with people calling you 10 times an hour all night long. Hey, Carrie. Yeah, the last time I went off, there were people running with shotguns. You know, I just don't come on as most people do. They don't come on. They don't come on now and talk about, You know, like I don't come on and talk about the things that, yeah, you know, getting this. I don't come on. I mean, when we got kicked out of the Bellagio, I never in my life ever got kicked out of a hotel. I've been kicked out of restaurants. I've been kicked out of nightclubs. But unless you're really drunk and out of control, how many people have ever been kicked out of a Las Vegas hotel for anything other than being drunk or cheating at gambling or fighting and making a scene? And then there we are at the Bellagio, one of the most exclusive hotels in Las Vegas, getting a royal boot. Well, I've had experience where I've been doing, you know, I've done some live streams at some places, at some restaurants and stuff, and have had managers come up to me and ask me to leave the premises. I don't make a big deal out of on the stream. I just shut the stream off. Yeah, I mean, there's some people enjoy, you know, to them, it's like a sport. It's fun. Hey, we figured out where you are. We know where the Lisa Marie is. We know where Rosie's staying in Las Vegas. We know where Rosie's staying in Florida. It's a sport. And for the most part, it's pretty harmless. It's pretty funny. But like I say, sometimes things get over the top. And people, yeah, Lori Green. I almost got Lori Green. Lori Green's going to spill the tea, baby. Missy Jenn will tell you, I've been thrown out of more stuff, booted out of more places, shown the gate more times just for being there, because people will claim and call and claim that something's going on. Well, look at it this way. Nature Woman Kentucky says that's scary that people can find you. I'm a live streamer a lot of times now. That's one of the risks when you're an IRL, in real life streamers, which I do. Like I said, there's a lot of people with very high IQs on YouTube and very good skills. They can find you. I mean, Jeremy Hopper is a legend here on the bottom of YouTube for being able to suss things out and find people out and locations and information. Not a guy to be trifled with. You want to talk about a godfather in the background? Let's talk about Jeremy Hopper, okay? Often talked about, but rarely seen on YouTube. Well, I'm just saying, to me, Jody, I mean, most times if I get swatted and I'm doing something, most managers just laugh. I mean, it's like, okay, you know, we don't want you filming here, you know, a customer complained or something like that. That's cool. I don't care. You know, I mean, I'm not going to be a prick. I just turn it off and finish my meal. Yeah. Hey, Andrew Soda, me and Tiff are here. How nice to see you live. There you go. Andres, nice to see you too. Now you can say I've gotten kicked out of better places than this, baby. Yeah, Google yourself. There's tons of info out there. Exactly. I mean, I've had my, you know, back in 2015, it got so bad that people were pulling my police records, real estate records. and found out that in 1990 I was arrested for a DUI. The funny thing was I wasn't even driving at the time. I was sitting at a gas station, you know, and gotten out of the car and got something to eat. Well, the point is the case was thrown out of court. There was never, you know, I wasn't drinking and driving. But somebody got pissed at me because a date went bad and decided to hit a payphone and make a call, and, you know, I got pulled over. I mean, this is the lengths that people will go to. And I heard another woman on a hangout one time while she was reading from a police report, not a police report, but a background report on a YouTube celebrity, family information and all that. Well, Andrew, I'll just, you know, you can go back and ask Vinny about that. I believe, Andrew Hondo, in my heart, that Vinny has never raised his hand to his wife. Thank you, Monique. Oh, Beryl, I've had so many people come to me, Beryl, over time and say, OMG. Like Monique, they're familiar with social media. They're familiar with Facebook, you know, and it's happy-go-lucky land. I mean, the greatest day I had was deactivating Facebook. Number one, I just didn't get anything out of it anymore. I guess that's really the principal reason. I don't really care, but I'm just saying all it is for some people is a huge breeding ground of trouble. I mean, and and then they come on and say, oh my God, I can't believe people do this. You know, I was talking to people on social media, and all of a sudden my social media is being weaponized against me. You know, things start appearing on the side chat, you know, my address or, you know, different things, or, I mean, it gets pretty bad. This is why I tell people, I don't look down on people that just choose to be side chatters with protected identities. It takes a strong person with a lot of constitutional ideas of right and wrong to protect people's information. That's what I am, Harvey. Be like Switzerland. Be neutral. You know, I have over 600, Missy Jenn and I have we have more addresses and more people on YouTube than probably anybody else here on these drama or void communities. But do you think on my worst day of ever gone at war with somebody, you could not pry that stuff out of my hand? And I can't tell you the number of times that people have written me and asked, hey, do you have the docs on this person, or do you have the docs on that person? And the answer is, of course I've got the docs, but they're never going to leave Missy Jenn or my hands here, no matter what this person does to me. But there aren't a lot of, well, I'm not going to say there aren't, but you would hope that most people would be that protective of other people's information. This is why I consistently kind of put out the warning, be careful. Protecting people's duty. That's right, Carrie. Reynolds says, yes, Rosie, protecting people's duty. It is a duty. It's a duty for those who know and have gone down that trail to tell others coming down the path behind them through the valley of hell that there's some really bad ogres, monsters ahead. And you might want to consider the long way around. I do believe that people have a duty. I believe people that host chats have a duty to tell people and reinforce to people that there's no negative downside to not sharing your information on a YouTube platform. Because one person's friendliness can be another person's sport. Nature Woman, I've been around for, you know, this is the flip side of the coin, Nature Woman. I've been around so long and have been through so much crap because I don't come on here and choose to disclose it. You know, that when everything that's done has been done pretty much, and you're older and you're pretty much out to pasture, it's like, well, there goes the old war horse from Baltimore. We'll just stick it out to pasture there. But you do have a duty. So no, I don't be careful these days. I just, you know, I live my life. I live my life in the open. But I consistently warn others coming down the trail behind me that you might want to think, you might really want to think twice before you give anybody your information. Yeah, I absolutely refuse to, you know, I mean, like I said, I've been through the mill. People that have been on my channel since 2013 when Hangouts started, they know how bad shit got in 2015. To the point that legal counsel had to be retained, police had to be retained, police had to be informed. Thank God there's a former detective that's a friend of mine, trans sister, that's always and always will have my back on YouTube. And a lot of people, I don't have to keep repeating her name. A lot of people know who it is. See, what people don't know, there's a lot of people that have access to information that don't abuse it, but they will help somebody that's getting their head kicked in. That's the nice side. Hey, Nocturnal Dennison. Something to think about, Jody. Yeah, you speak from experience. This is why when somebody like Colleen comes along, you want to just kind of have a set down and say, look, enjoy this. But remember, you got a lot of stuff you got a lot of things to protect in your life. And you got a great heart. And if you take those steps to protect yourself, your experience will always be happy. You might get in drama fights. You might be in there punching away like a Hell's Angels chick on a Friday night after a six-pack. But you'll wake up the next day and you'll be ready to come back again and do it all over again with a smile on your face. The other good rule is don't fuck with people. Because karma has a way of being a great leveler on YouTube, that if you become identified as a person that you know, people may temporarily rally around as you know, as a temporary knight in shining armor that's going to do battle for the good versus evil on YouTube. Remember, you cross the line sometimes there too. Most people are smart, though. They're not going to jeopardize their job. They're not going to jeopardize a brush with the law. They're not going to jeopardize embarrassment with family and friends. What they're going to do is just do simple parodies that make the point that they want to make. Because sometimes some of the justice warriors have had it come down real hard on them too. Yeah, we try to be neutral with others. Nature Woman, Kentucky. You know, I've like I said last night, it's amazing to me that I hold a wrench in Vinny G's chat, and I hold a wrench in Pirate Calypso's chat. You know why? Because I like to think I'm fair and I understand what the mod is, you know, what the chat holder is trying to do. And I try to just go there and just listen and have some fun without taking people off at the knees and all that. Good afternoon, Sean. Nice to see you. Okay. Take care, Susie. Y'all best brace up there, Sean. We got 3 inches of rain and high winds coming in tomorrow night into Thursday. So I once again encourage ladies, particularly because ladies are more apt, you know, to want to have friends on the YouTube platform, and to, you know, they have more shared interests of lady talk, and they enjoy hanging out together and following what's going on in the community, and particularly the drama communities, and now the Boyd communities. And I say this, that very few people ever want to get your information at first for anything more than to be your friend and exchange that information. But you got to imagine a scenario where your interests diverge, sometimes in horrifying ways. And you never know what somebody's really capable of at the end of the day. Because how well do you really know the people? You know, Nightbot, you don't have to apologize to that. Nightbot said, I'm sorry, but I can't help laughing and picking at Elvis when he gets to yelling crazy mess up. It's entertainment for people. For a lot of people, and people say, well, you know, he does this bad thing and that bad thing. But at the end of it all, social media has a way of cleaning up its own bird cage, so to speak. You keep doing the wrong thing for long enough, and the wells of support, monetary support, just dry up. Social media has a way of taking care of its own problem without massive infusions of hate. Yeah, that's right. Jody says, I'm from the audio community, which is bitchy in its own right. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago I was on an audio hangout, and some people were bidding on a piece of vintage audio equipment. I think it was at HK, Harman Kardon, early tube amplifier or something. I don't even remember what the hell it was. And they were live bidding against each other while sitting on the hangout. And the one guy got so pissed, he's like, next time I see you at the New York Vintage Audio Show, or whatever the hell it was, Long Island or whatever the hell, I don't know what, Boston. He's like, I'm going to put a bullet in your head. I was like, whew. That's how hot that guy was. Well, you know, he didn't get a strike. He got his channel removed. Just immediately terminated from YouTube. I mean, and this is the vintage audio community. Yeah. I mean, this is 55, 58-year-old, 60, 65, 75-year-old guys that rebuild this kind of shit over here. And who would ever thought? I thought to myself, man, suppose your wives came out of here and heard you talking this nonsense. Well, they don't, you know, YouTube doesn't fool around anymore. They just don't mess around with things anymore. There's, you know, people think, well, I can get 3 strikes and I'm okay. And no, sometimes they take you out on strike 1. Yeah, Nocturnal says, I've had a YouTube account since 2011. Seen a lot of fuckery. I've had, I trust very few people on YouTube. Got to be careful on here. People get crazy. The question you have to ask yourself is, which is more important to you? Peace and harmony in your personal life, or peace and harmony on a social media platform? And as long as your personal privacy and everything outweighs and is more important, you'll never give yourself away on social media. Yeah, Linda Francine said, Rosie, if you have a temper, you'll threaten people over anything. I once saw 2 guys getting in an argument over the tire pressure on a Greyhound bus. One nearly took a straight razor to the other one. You just don't know. Hey, Spirit's Heart, how are you, sweetie? So don't ever let anybody, don't ever allow anyone to belittle you or tell you that you're a weak person or you're a chump because you don't give the personal private information. I think it's okay to tell people what country you're in, what state you're in, what part of UK you're in, what part of Canada. You know, if you're in a major city, but then from down there, you have to be careful. I mean, we've had people I've had stalkers on the Rancho before. You know, people that come on a hangout and tell them, oh, I rode by the Rancho today. I looped the block a few times. I debated whether to come knocking on the door or not. This was a person who did not like me at all. Developed a private website with, you know, whole blog pages and stuff about the trans community. And then go into a chat and say, well, I rode by the Rancho. Nothing that you would think was negative, but you knew what the intention of that was. I know where you live. Well, everybody knows where we live, but I'm just saying, back at that time, that was a pretty surprising thing. Yeah, it's fine. Happy Meal. I'm getting ready to close it then. I've made my point on here. You just remember, all of our intention is not to, drama just happens all by itself. And it's not contrived. Hi, Pam. So with that, I have some stuff to do with Missy Jenn. We finally have got the final date for her surgery, a new round of paperwork. I'm going to help her out, and I want to see you guys. I'll probably do a late night chat tonight, later night chat. Maybe a little ta-ta chat tonight with a beer or 2. Okay? Thanks so much for being along, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your